Okay, this was a very emotional night for a lot of wrestling fans. As for those who haven't heard, Roman Reigns had to vacate the Universal Championship due to suffering from leukemia or blood cancer. And he explains that he's been dealing with this for 11 years now, and it finally came back surfacing again. So, Roman Reigns had to vacate the title. There was a lot of sadness going on. A lot of people were sad that this happened. That a lot of people who didn't like Roman Reigns were like, look, we don't like Roman Reigns, but we didn't wish for this. And there were some who I actually interacted with on Twitter actually said that basically they're glad that happened because his entire life is apparently a joke, along with his career as a football player and a wrestler. I blocked him on Twitter, by the way. I'm not going to mention his name out of just that respect because I don't feel like blasting him on social media. So, Roman Reigns was forced to vacate the Universal title. Everyone has been wishing him get well messages and they're in his prayers and whatnot. And I was shocked when I heard this. Like, I was downstairs using the bathroom at the time. But I came back upstairs and heard about this, and then I was like, what the hell just happened? Did Roman just vacate the title because of leukemia? And then I freaked out, like, wondering what just happened. Like, and this was the opening of Raw. When I heard this, it was like, well, how do you watch the show now? How do you watch it now? Like, you can't really watch it, and with the show is bad, you can't really say anything because of this issue that happened and the emotional clusterfuck we just got through. But yeah, a lot of the talent, such as Braun Strowman, even acknowledged that while they don't like Roman Reigns, they at least acknowledged they have respect for him. And then we got two bizarre face turns out of nowhere. Braun Strowman and Elias, two people that fans were clamoring. One doesn't turn heel because he was too popular, and the other one should turn face because he was just so popular with fans. They turned face tonight, and here's the sad part. I don't think they would have turned face had Roman Reigns not been forced to leave. That makes it depressing when you realize that the WWE was never going to put these guys on a face level of a top guy unless something had happened to Roman Reigns, and that's honestly disturbing. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. It's time to talk about the tribute match. Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins as The Shield versus Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre of the now dissolved Dogs of War. So, yeah. Originally, some plans were made for me to talk about some Roman Reigns matches where I would go ahead and criticize the Roman Reigns agenda. And now I feel like that's up in the air right now. I still plan to talk about some pay-per-view wrestling matches I haven't talked about because I kind of took this decision to not talk about these wrestling shows as much as I used to because either I get very frustrated or I'm just downright miserable watching the show. So I decided to take a break and only look at the best matches I could find. Except for NXT, that they're cool. So, yeah, they go ahead and have this tag team title match that was announced prior to the show, and everyone was groaning at that because they heard that, oh, well, it's this match again. Why do we need this match? But when the announcement came out, everyone was like, okay, you know what, this is a tribute match. We're going to pay our respects to this. A lot of people actually had said that they were cutting themselves off of social media to watch this match in honor of Roman Reigns, which I was like... But... yeah, I saw this match, and it was, you could just see Seth Rollins and Ambrose kind of like they're there, trying to give it their all, but you could tell a part of them is just not there. They don't have Roman there. They don't have their brother in arms. Like, Seth Rollins was already breaking down in tears and all this, and you had to imagine, like, you're being told you have to give yourself 100%, but you just heard one of your friends just got leukemia, just went ahead and publicly announced to the world, and how do you keep coping with that? How do you cope with that knowledge just less than 3 hours ago? So, yeah, it must have been raw emotion for them. Like, a lot of the talent was expressing their horrible shock about this. Like, they didn't see this happening. They didn't see any of this coming. A lot of people didn't see this coming. Roman didn't see this coming, but yeah. So in this match, everyone realized that they're gonna win the tag team titles. They have to. They're honoring Roman. They have to honor Roman because this is a tribute to him. So they go ahead, they do this match. Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler defending their tag team titles against the Shield. And it's a very emotional match for everybody because Roman's out and the situation revolving around him. And like I said, it feels like Rollins and Ambrose aren't really physically there. Like they're there, but part of their mind just isn't. It's just going back to Roman. And really, this is honestly their best match together with Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler. I thought their match was going to be with Hell in a Cell, which I had planned to talk about this week, but due to the changes that happened, I don't know. But, yeah, there was a lot of chaotic moments. Like, you could tell a lot of the emotion was raw and very powerful. Like, they're honoring Roman, they did their entrance without Roman, and you could tell they're trying their best not to break down, realizing that this is going to be a long time before they do this again with him. And ultimately, in this match, it was emotional, it was very heartfelt. You could tell that they wanted to honor their friend, their brother, and yeah. So, eventually, Braun Strowman at the end of the match comes out. Seth Rollins accidentally knocks out the ref. And then Braun Strowman attacks Drew McIntyre in badass fashion. And then all of a sudden, Dolph Ziggler is by himself. Ambrose saves the day. Seth Rollins does the curb stomp and gets his team the win. They become Raw Tag Team Champions. They're celebrating. They're all emotional. They're, like everyone said, we're going to send the crowd home happy. And then we get our second emotional clusterfuck. Dean Ambrose turns heel. I am not kidding. They went, like, a lot of people were saying that, oh, well, they can do Dean Ambrose turning heel now. They just lost Roman now, and we don't know when the next time will be back. So how are they going to do this? How are they going to commit to doing a heel turn for Ambrose? Like, when Ambrose was getting all these teas about him turning heel, everyone was like, no, they're not going to do it. They keep teasing it so much that when it eventually does happen, it's not going to really mean anything. But now, on the night where everyone said, well, they're not going to do the heel turn because they can't do the heel turn now. It's going to be a long time before they do that, probably when Roman gets back. But now, no, let's do it. Let's do the heel turn. Let's pull the trigger and do the heel turn. And Ambrose does the dirty deeds, proceeds to beat the crap out of Seth Rollins, do the dirty deeds onto the concrete floor, and basically annihilate him. And, yeah, they show the crowd reaction, like, it's, like, a little audible, but it's very quiet. You could tell that everyone was horrified at what happened. That WWE just went ahead and basically said, hey, you see this heartfelt moment after that emotional clusterfuck you just went through at the beginning of the show with Roman having to relinquish the title due to blood cancer? Okay, let's kick you in the balls again and have his brother turn on his other brother. So, yeah, I'm just like, wow. When was the last time they did something like this? I haven't seen them have the balls to do this since in a long time. And I know I'm not talking about what the whole CM Punk, Undertaker, Paul Bearer incident stuff that they did for WrestleMania 29. That's not what I mean. Like, I'm talking about, like, this guy is cancer, and basically they went ahead, turned the brothers against each other after weeks of teasing it, after nearly a month, I think. And everyone's saying he should turn heel, but then when they kept teasing it, they knew it wasn't going to happen, it would be too long, and when they do, it's not going to be mattering to anybody. But no, they said, let's pull the trigger now. Like, we don't have Roman anymore, so we got to pull the trigger now, because there's never going to be a better time to do this emotional moment to make everyone hate Ambrose. Like, he's probably going to get Ciampa levels of heat, considering the overwhelming support Roman's been getting. But, yeah, when Ambrose did this, he walked up through the crowd, and I thought the cameras weren't going to show his face. Like, maybe part of him realized, oh crap, we had to do this. like, part of him probably didn't want to do this angle, but now, like, he's doing it. But so now he's finally ventured to the dark side, and it kind of feels hollow when you realize that it had to take basically Roman getting this horrible condition he's in just to finally pull the trigger on Ambrose to turn into the dark side. And then you also realize that Braun Strowman and Elias probably wouldn't be faces now if Roman didn't get this. And I'm like, okay, WWE Vince, I'm getting mixed signals from you. Should I feel disgust that you're finally doing these stuff because Roman's sick and having to deal with leukemia and therefore you can't use your agenda on him anymore? Or do I feel glad that you finally pulled the trigger, but also disgusted that you're doing it on the eve of the end of the Roman Reigns agenda, as everyone has called it? It just really confuses me. I'm just questioning everything. The only thing I was hoping for, the WWE doesn't exploit Roman Reigns' problem, this horrible event, to guilt trip the fans because they didn't like Roman Reigns' character. Like, you can guilt trip the people who keep saying that Roman Reigns should die, or his daughter should be killed, or anyone else who dares support him should be massively slaughtered in horrible ways. And this is why some people will probably say, see, this is why Thanos was right. People like you need to go away. Yeah, like, I have been seeing people saying that Thanos should have just turned them into dust. But, yeah, Roman Reigns... the Shield is officially dead now. Roman's gone due to his leukemia, and I'm surprised he was able, like, when I heard about this, everyone was wondering, why did he go public with this? Like, not just to relinquish the Universal title, but apparently he also said that the reason why he did this was to raise awareness for leukemia research. And I was like, so he put himself on the spot, knowing what was going to happen, and did it because he wants to support this charity awareness of leukemia research. Yeah, I hope that the people who wish Roman Reigns was dead are currently hiding in the rocks right now because they probably can't show their faces right now on social media. But, yeah, Raw was a very emotional moment for a lot of people. They couldn't sit through 3 hours. They probably said, okay, I gotta change the channel. This is too depressing. Like, Corey Graves was clearly trying his best not to break down in tears. In fact, I was honestly expecting him to say, I can't do this, and walks out and basically says he can't sit here and talk about the show because of what happened with Roman. And they even broke character for Renee Young. Like, she doesn't... Like, while they have mentioned that they are dating in the storyline, they broke character and basically had her go ahead and say that she's married to Ambrose, so that's confirmed. Like, that was already confirmed months prior, but now this is, like, in storyline continuity. And now I'm curious as to know how Renee Young's going to feel regarding what Ambrose had done, now that this is part of the, quote, WWE canon. But, yeah. The whole night was a mess for me. Like, seeing one of my favorite guys having to go out, like, I hated his booking, but I always loved what this performer did for everybody. No idea when he'll be back, but I do know he is going to be back. I will not think otherwise. So, those were my thoughts on the Shield versus Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre and the Roman Reigns issue and the Roman Reigns leukemia thing. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. If you like, comment, subscribe, and donate. Stay tuned for more. Thank you, Roman, and hope you feel better soon.